Okay, right, let's start the day then with 20 minutes mobility. Okay, so restoring pelvic and hip mobility is the goal of today's session. So we'll start with what we started last night in yoga. So we'll start with a diagonal step forward, heel first, weight onto the front leg, and then rotate the pelvis, step back. Okay, we'll do 10 times on one side and 10 times on the other side. When you're ready, go. So take the weight fully onto that front leg. That's it. You can try and do it in one fluid movement, so step and rotate. And then have your hands on your hips so you feel that rotation. Keep going for 10 and then switch sides when you've done 10. Don't rush it and don't rush the rotation as well. Good. And then feel, can you feel any difference from side to side? Oh, my glutes are aching from whatever I did yesterday. Oh. Good. That doesn't bode well for tonight's strength class, does it? Good. Just nice and steady. We are going to do 2 sets in total. So when you've done 10 on this side, switch sides again for me. And don't take too big a step. It's not a big step, just a small diagonal step. Good. And make sure you lead heel first with that step. Good. And let your head turn as well. And on to my last side. Last step rather, not last side. Just try and plant that foot as well, nice and straight. You can pivot on the back foot, that's fine. Try and feel the movement come from the pelvis as you rotate. I've got one more to finish off. And just finish those off. So 2 sets of 10 on each side. And then we're going to take it onto the floor. So we're going to start with our anterior and posterior tilt of the pelvis. So you go feet flat on the floor, okay? And just arms wide. In fact, put your arms, I think it helps put your hands on your hips, on your pelvis. And then I want you to, I'll start the timer in a sec actually. Tilt the pelvis back, so your lower back flattens. And then I want you to tilt the pelvis forward, and then you'll feel your lower back arch, okay? And we're just going to move slowly through those 2 movements, okay? So start a timer, so we're going to do 2 minutes, okay? So put your hands on your pelvis, tilt back so you feel the lower back flatten, and then tilt forward, and the lower back should come off the ground, okay? Just work through that. Don't force anything. And remember, as we tilt backwards and the lower back flattens, you're going to think about your glutes doing that work. So your glutes tilt that pelvis backwards. And then as you go forwards, I want you to think about the hip flexors doing the work. Good. And your feet and knees are about hip distance apart, and they're both pointing forwards. Good. Now, what will possibly happen is what you'll feel is as you go forwards, it's your lower back doing the work, not your hip flexors. So I really want you to try and engage with the hip flexors, tilting that pelvis forward. And what you might find is as you tilt the pelvis back, you feel your abs doing the work rather than your glutes. So again, try and focus in on the glutes doing the work. Yeah. Don't rush the movement, just nice and steady. This one, if you do have a regular mobility routine, this one I would always make sure it's in there at some point because it's really important. Oh, blimey, we've only got 10 seconds left. That went quick. One more. And recover. Okay, good. Right. So cross your right foot over onto your left knee for me. And I want you to gently press the right leg out, right knee out. Not using your hands, just press out, okay? Feel the hip on the right hand side. Okay, now I want you to go down to the left. Take your arms out to the side. Oh, I just have to move my mic. Hang on. Go over to the left till your foot touches the ground, okay? And now what should happen is the shin should be vertical and the knee should be pointing directly up at the ceiling. Mine isn't, it's coming towards my body. So I'm gonna push out and see if I can get the knee to point up towards the ceiling. That's what we're aiming for. And then you're gonna turn your head to the right and your arms are directly to the sides. Again, we're just gonna hold here for 1 minute. So we've got pelvic rotation and we've got external hip rotation at the same time. So working the getting the pelvis and the hips to work together. Good. Let's keep holding. Also make sure your neck is directly to the sides, not pointing down to the shoulder. If you're not sure, go back to the center and then rotate the head again. Just kind of try and pivot. We've got 10 more seconds. Again, and come back to the center for me. Okay, let's switch sides. Let's take our left foot over, press the left hip out, and then let's go down to the ground. Mine's better on this side. Okay, press out. And then turn your head to the left. Okay, arms are out, your palms are facing upwards. And remember, we're aiming for that vertical shin and your knee pointing directly up to the ceiling. If it's pointing more towards you, then just gently press out as far as you can. But again, don't really force things. We've got 10 more seconds here. And then gently come back to the center for me, okay? I want you to put, oh, just move my mics right in the way today. Okay, put your arms in the air for me, feet about hip distance apart. I want you to drop your knees to the side and then drop your knees to the other side, okay? We're gently going to do that for 2 minutes, okay? When you're ready, go. Keep going for me. Okay, now bring your arms down to the side and keep doing that for 1 minute. Again, not rushing it, just nice and steady. We've got 10 more seconds here. And relax back to the center. Again, right, take both legs straight. We did this one last night in yoga. Bring your right leg bent, okay? And then actually I'll start changing the side, then you can see my right leg bent better. Bend your left leg, keep your right leg straight. You're gonna lie back onto the ground. Then what I want you to do is try and level out your hips, your pelvis, so you're not rotated to one side, so your foot's directly pointing up to the ceiling. Bring your foot in towards your body, tense your quad at the front of your thigh for me. And then you're going to externally rotate from the hip out as far as you can. And then I want you to internally rotate from the hip. I am not shifting my pelvis at all. I'm trying to get the work to come from the hip, okay? And we're going to do that for 1 minute on your right side. Off you go. And we're going to notice if there's any difference between left and right. So this feels a lot better than it did last night in class. Keep pulling the toes in. So make sure you're not rocking side to side, the pelvis is nice and stable. The movement is coming from the hip. Good. Good work. And relax, relax the foot. Okay, switch legs, take the left leg nice and straight, pull the toes in, tense the quad, and then let's twist externally and internally. How are we getting on? Right, external rotation feels harder on this side, and it's the same last night. There we go, it's freeing up a little bit now, good. 10 more seconds on this side, and we're going to repeat both sides and see if it feels any different. And relax. Okay, switch sides. And let's do exactly the same. Pull the toes in, tense the quad, and let's go. Really focus in on where the movement's coming from. Ten more seconds on this side. And relax. Okay, change sides. Pull the toes in, tense the quad. Let's go. That feels a bit better this time. Good. Just make sure you're not cheating. It's really easy to cheat on this one. I think about the movement coming from the hip and relax. Okay, rather than just try, you can try and force the foot, just try and think about the movement coming from the hip, and my left side is definitely more restricted. Let's have no surprise. Okay, right, let's go back to this one. So let's pop the right foot over the left knee. Okay, press out for me, arms out to the side. Let's take the foot down to the left. And is it looking any better? It looks a bit better, that's good. And then press out, turn the head to the right. 1 minute we're here for. Ten more seconds. Keep pressing that knee out. And then come back to the center. Okay, take the left foot over the right knee, press out, and go over to the right. How's that looking? Press out if you need to, and then turn the head to the left. Last 10 seconds. And then coming back to the center. Okay, over on to all fours, we're gonna do cat and cow. I'm gonna finish with that for 2 minutes, okay? Because cat and cow is all about the pelvis, it should be, if it's done correctly. So, on to all fours. All right, let's start the timer now, okay? We're gonna come into cat, so we're gonna arch the back, like you see the cats do, okay? And I want you to inhale. We're gonna exhale into cow. We're gonna start the movement from the pelvis. So start the movement from the pelvis, exhale, then follow with each vertebrae, and then finish with the neck. And then we're gonna inhale into cat, start with the pelvis. Nice and slowly finish with the head. And then into cow, exhale, start with the pelvis. Okay, you're on your own now, right? You've got to start with the pelvis every single time. So we're trying to teach the pelvis to work first and the spine follows, rather than all the movement coming from the spine. Halfway there. So inhale into cat, exhale into cow. So think of it like a wave almost. The head moves last. Oh, 30 seconds left. Last 10 seconds. And then probably your last movement now. Yeah, relax. Just take it back into child's pose and drop down. Hold here for a second. And relax. Come over. We're done. There we go. That one is such a good session to do. And I would regularly do all of those movements or just repeat this session at least once a week. All right, thanks guys. Have a great day. Have a good one. See you later.